Hello, my friend. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can grow your Spotify streams simply by starting to track your Spotify playlist growth. So there's three ways that you can do this. One is just in the Spotify for Artists dashboard. Two is by using a DIY Spotify streams tracker. And three is by using a third-party tool to kind of automate this process and get a little bit more information than you normally would by yourself. So before jumping into those three ways, I do want to mention the two reasons that this can be so powerful in actually growing your Spotify streams. So the first is by making it a daily practice to just jump into the Spotify for Artists dashboard and check out your Spotify playlist stats. It's a good way to see what new playlists that your music is being added to so that you could then reach out to these curators and simply thank them, and then maybe open up the opportunity for you to get into a lot more playlists in the future. And this is something I do all the time. I just quickly jump in, check out how many streams I've gotten in the last 24 hours from specific playlists to see if there's any cool new changes. This is actually how I discovered that my music started playing in H&M stores, was from jumping in every once in a while, checking how many streams I'm getting from these playlists, and that's where I saw the H&M playlist ad. And reason number two, and this is really the most important reason, is you can go into the playlist section there and you can track the performance of the Spotify playlist that you actually own. So of course you could go in and see, say if you got added to a big playlist and you want to see what the actual impact of your stream counts is directly from that playlist. But I think it's more useful when you're running your own Spotify playlist, particularly if you're using Facebook and Instagrams to grow that playlist. If you can jump in and see what the impact of your marketing is on those playlists, and this is a great way to do it. So with that said, let's jump into these three ways that you can actually monitor and track your Spotify playlist growth. So the first and most simple way to do this is directly inside of the Spotify for Artists dashboard. So we're going to jump into mine right now. So from the home screen, what you're going to want to do is click on the little hamburger menu, and you're going to want to go over to the music tab. Then what you'll want to do is navigate over to playlists, and you're going to want to change the drop down from 28 days to the last 24 hours. So from here, you'll be able to see all of the streams that you've gotten from all the different playlists in the last 24 hours. So you can see here all the streams that I've personally gotten from the algorithm playlist. You're going to move down, not past the editorial, and you're going to move over to the listener one. And this is where you'll most likely be following your own playlist. So for me, the playlist that I'm running myself is this one here called Lo-Fi Running Beats to Run To, and this other one called Lo-Fi Nights in the Sad House. This one here is the one that I'm actually taking the time to run some marketing towards with Facebook and Instagram ads. So this is the one that I'll be following in this example. But you can see here by simply chopping in and setting that counter to the last 24 hours, I can see that this playlist has gotten 10 of my songs, 151 streams yesterday. And this is useful because as I'm running Facebook and Instagram ads, I can see how this changes over time. And this actually started out as 0 streams that it was getting me, and I could see over time it slowly has grown to this point as I've ran more and more Facebook ads and Instagram ads to this playlist. So another metric that you will want to also follow when you're running your own playlist like this is the follower counts as well. So unfortunately, the main way that you're going to want to have to normally do this is actually go into the playlist itself. And a simple way that you can get to that playlist a little bit quicker from the Spotify Artist dashboard is by heading over to your profile over here, and then making sure that you've added it either to the artist pick at the top, which will get you to it really quickly, or if you add it to the artist playlist at the bottom over here. So you can click it over here, and actually when you add it to the artist playlist like this, you can actually see the follower count right here. So you can jump in here, take note of the followers, and make sure that it's increasing each day or whenever you're popping in to make sure that your playlist is growing and that your marketing is effective. So jumping into the Spotify for Artists dashboard like that is a great way to monitor your playlist, whether it's your own or ones that you're on. But I want to take things a little bit further and show you how you can create a DIY kind of streams tracker using Google Sheets so that you can monitor this playlist a little bit more seriously over time. So I've created a template for you that you can follow along with, or if you'd like, there will be a link in the description to the 7-step release checklist that I have available for free. In addition to the 7 steps that I follow each and every time that I release music, I'm going to include a link to this template here so you can grab it and copy it yourself and just use this one. But essentially the idea is you're going to want to have a column for each date. Every time that the data comes in, it's always one day earlier on the Spotify for Artist dashboard. So right now I'm making this video on the 20th, so we'll start this one on the 19th for this example and drag it down. So then there's going to be a first column is going to be the total number of followers, followed by a column that's going to figure out the increase in followers from day to day for you, so you don't have to calculate that. Then there's going to be a cost per column, which is going to calculate how much each new follower is costing you based on how much you're spending in Facebook ads, which we'll jump into a second. The next kind of section of columns is going to go over the Spotify stats. So this will show the actual streams that you're getting for that playlist. It'll then automatically calculate the cost per stream. And then you can also take note of the listeners on that as well as the cost per listener. And then over on the advertising side, you'll be able to type in the amount of results you're getting. So this will usually be conversions, which is what I'd recommend running for me to view contents. It'll automatically calculate the cost per view content, and then you can just simply type in your total cost there. So I'm going to just do a quick run through of how you would fill this out to give you a good idea. So what you'd want to do is start off by adding in your Facebook ads stat. I'm going to head over to the Facebook ads manager, and what you're going to want to do here is make sure that you've set the drop down column to yesterday, because you're always going to be calculating the stats for yesterday. So then for me, it's view content. So I'm going to look at that and type in the number 11 into my sheet over here under results, and then head back to the ads manager and then look for the overall cost, which for me was yesterday was $2.90. So I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet and type in $2.90. And this will automatically update the cost per result, which for me was 26 cents per result. Then what we're going to want to do is head over to the Spotify for Artists dashboard. So we'll first start by typing in the followers. So it started off at 2,498. So we'll type that in. 2,498. And then we'll head back into the Spotify for Artists dashboard, head back over to that music tab, switch it to playlists, switch it to the last 24 hours, head over to the playlist and type in 151. And then you can also head back there. And then when it is larger, you can also see that there was 34 listeners. So we'll go ahead and type that in as well. So this is obviously an example that doesn't make a lot of sense because I've been running this for a while. However, by filling this in over time, you'll be able to calculate the increase in results that you get over time. So let's say that the next day there was an increase of, let's keep it really chill, 2,500. You can see there's an increase in 2. Let's say there was 151 streams again, and also 34 listeners. And then let's say this was the exact same. Then you would be able to see that I gained 2 followers for $1.45 or whatever it may be. And you can continue to follow this through as you are going along, monitoring the stats for your Spotify playlist. So I think this is really important because what you're going to want to be doing is making sure that the money that you're spending to grow that Spotify playlist is resulting in an increase in followers and an increase in streams over time. If you're running Facebook and Instagram ads to a playlist like this and you're not getting any results, maybe you're getting 5 cents per result on the Facebook ads manager, that when you look at this and you're getting 0 followers for that money or 0 streams for that money, that's kind of a problem. So I think it's important to use a tracker like this to make sure that things are growing. A big question though would be, how long should you track the growth of the Spotify playlist? So honestly, I do not follow up a tracker like this all the time. I would recommend doing it if you're starting a brand new playlist or if you're brand new to Facebook ads. By doing it for at least a week or two very directly, you'll be able to monitor the growth and make sure that the money that you're spending on ads and all that is actually working. So I think it's incredibly important when you're starting a brand new playlist, and specifically if you're brand new to Facebook ads, to make sure that everything is working. Really want to stress that. However, after like a week or so of tracking it serious like this, and you know for a fact that generally the playlist is growing over time and you're getting streams from that playlist, I would then maybe just switch to jumping into the Spotify for Artists dashboard every once in a while, just keeping an eye on the overall stream counts each day, making sure that it's roughly the same as what you normally see it as and that it's growing, and also checking into the follower counts every once in a while to make sure that that's growing as well too, because there is a possibility that your ads could be running and then eventually kind of stop being as useful. And if that happens, you're going to want to jump in and make some changes. And finally, I want to show you how you can kind of automate this process a little bit and get a little bit more information out of your Spotify playlist by using a third-party tool called Playlist Supply. So I'm going to show you this really quickly. This is the Playlist Supply dashboard. So what you'd want to do is, from the tool section, is you'd want to identify the playlist. So I'm going to just type in my last name because I believe that will make it show up anybody who's created the playlist with my last name. And you can see here that there are a couple of different playlists here. And what's neat about this is you can see here, this is Best Friends Club. This is one of the playlists that I have. You can see here the amount of followers, the amount of tracks it have. And this, I think, is really important. You can actually see the Spotify popularity index for that particular playlist. So you can actually use this tool to monitor the popularity of your playlist. And the higher the popularity, basically the more algorithmic sway it's going to have in songs that are added to it. So I think that's pretty cool. And then what you can actually do with this tool is then save it to your playlist database and then head over to the top. And then when you go over to the database, you'll be able to then monitor this playlist over time, and you can update the playlist Well, when you update the playlist, you can only do it once per day, and it'll show you the increase in followers or decrease in followers, the increase in tracks and the decrease in tracks, as well as a change in the popularity score. It doesn't show you the streams, but you can use this to start tracking things like followers and the popularity index, which is quite cool. And it would be really, really neat if these guys added the ability to show it over time for you, so you could kind of have like a little graph where you can check in and just see the changes over time as opposed to actually having to come in and update it. But it is a pretty cool tool that I wanted to mention, that you can use it to find playlists for your music to get added to. It's actually meant to be used for searching Spotify to find playlists, and then it'll pull in the curator information for you, the contact information. So it's more for reaching out for to get onto playlists, but I think it's actually a pretty cool way that you can use it to monitor your own playlist too, a little bit more automatically, and it gets you that extra information about the Spotify popularity index, which is pretty freaking cool. But with that said, those are 3 ways that you can start tracking your Spotify playlist. One is just jumping into the Spotify for Artists dashboard. 2 is using a DIY Spotify streams tracker. And again, there's a free download of that in the 7-step release checklist, which is also free in the description below. And 3rd is using a third-party tool to kind of automate the whole process as well. So if you found this useful, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Otherwise, good luck on your next release, and I'll see you in the next video, my friend. Have a good one.